Hi friends! This week at Get Your Play Online, it is Celebrate Summer Week. So I thought that we could create something that would let us celebrate summer all year long, something that we could keep in our room to remember this summer that we might have had. So what we're going to do is create a glow-in-the-dark firefly in a jar. So some people call fireflies they might call them lightning bugs or even glowworms. I think some part of the country they call them glowworms. So what we're going to do is because this is one of my favorite things in the summer, is to see the fireflies light up in the night sky. So I thought that would be a great thing to remember. Hopefully that's one of your favorite things too, and that way we can keep it for all year round. So what we're going to need is we're going to need another jar. So I created this example to show you guys. So we're going to need another jar. You could use one that you already have in your kitchen. That's a great way to recycle. You would just need to wash it out first. You could also get one. I got these at the dollar store, and they are actually plastic. So it's great if you happen to drop it, it won't break, and it's nice and light. So that's the first thing that we're going to use. And yours, if you have a smaller one in the kitchen, you can use any size jar will work. So that's our first thing. And then we're going to need paper. I chose black because I'll show you my little firefly in here, because I wanted it to look like my firefly was in the night sky. So I chose black for my paper, but it's your choice, whatever color paper you want to use. And then we're going to need Band-Aids to create our fireflies. So what I'm going to be using is a Band-Aid that is a little bit darker for the body, like a brown color, and then two that are kind of more see-through, but any kind of Band-Aids will work. So we've got our Band-Aids. Then we're going to need some scissors. We're going to need crayons and at least a black marker, and either a yellow highlighter or marker, or you could use yellow paint also. And then what's going to make it glow in the dark is actually our glow in the dark paint. So I've got puff paint here. You can still make the whole jar if you don't have glow in the dark paint. This is just going to make it extra cool at night, where it'll glow in the dark after it's been either under a light or in the sun. So that's what we're going to use to make everything glow. I actually used two colors on my jar, so if you have more than one color, you could totally use that. So, and I actually only grabbed the yellow, so I'm going to grab the other color really quick. Okay, so I've got this, I used yellow, and I think yellow is probably the best color if you're just going to use one, because that will make it look most like the glow-in-the-dark light that the firefly uses. But I've also got this kind of whitish color also. So the first thing that we're going to do is, like I said, we want to make sure that your jar is nice and clean. So if you want to grab one from the kitchen and make sure that it's washed out, you can do that now. And we're going to go ahead and unscrew our jar. And I'm going to use my paper. I'm going to put it under my jar just to make sure that when I'm doing my puff paint, that it doesn't, in case I actually accidentally get any on the table, then it's no big deal because it's actually just on the paper. So I'm going to put my jar on my paper, and then I'm going to take my puff paints. And remember, if you don't have glow-in-the-dark puff paints, you can skip this step and we can still make your firefly in a jar. So I'm going to pick which one I want to use first, and I think I'm going to do this color first. So I'm going to open my cap, and I'm going to go ahead and just gently squeeze. You can make pretty big dots, but just not so big that maybe they start kind of falling down your jar. So we're going to take it and we're going to squeeze. I'm going to put it right next to the jar and just squeeze until some comes out. And there we go. I've got my first glow-in-the-dark dot. And I'm just going to go around and make as many dots as you want. You could make a design if you want, anything you write. You could write your name in the dots. So I'm just going to make dots kind of all over. with this color. So I would be curious to know what they call fireflies where you live. Are they lightning bugs or fireflies or glowworms? So fireflies are nocturnal, and that means that they come out at night. So usually when you're sleeping or getting ready to sleep, that's when they wake up and come out. So I've got half the jar, and I'm going to turn it and get the spot that's empty right in there. And once you feel good about how many dots are on your jar, you can go ahead and take your top and put it back on. And if you've got another color, then we can go ahead and add our second color. So I'm going to do this, but if you only have one, you can just keep going with the color you have. And if you have none, you can just hang on till we get to the next step and just have your jar with no puff paint, and we'll make the firefly to put inside of it. So we're going to take that next color, and just anywhere you want to add this color. Like I said, I like this yellow color because it really shows up well when it's dark, and this is more like the color that the fireflies glow. And the glowing actually comes from their abdomen, which means their bellies. Here we go. I'm going to keep putting these dots all around our jar. Do a couple more on this side. There we go. So now my jar is all the way covered with my glow-in-the-dark puff paint. So I'm going to put this down and go ahead and put the top back on my glow-in-the-dark paint so that it doesn't get on anything I don't want it to get on, and put it to the side. And we're going to put our jar to the side and the cap for now. Just make sure it doesn't fall over and get the paint on anything that we don't want it to. And we're going to start to make our firefly. So here's what the one that went in my jar looked like. And so we're going to use our paper, our Band-Aids, and some of our markers and crayons to create this. And then we're going to cut it out with our scissors. So the first thing that we're going to do is use a Band-Aid to make the body, the main part of the body of the firefly. So like I said, I actually used a darker Band-Aid for that. And then, so this one's kind of a more brown color, and then I've got these clearish Band-Aids. But if you just have one color Band-Aid, that is totally fine too. But if you have extras, if you have different kinds, then you might do it kind of similar to how I am. So first thing we're going to do is open the Band-Aid. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to find the end that is able to, it has kind of, it's got two little things sticking out that way. And we're just going to take it with our fingers and pull until it's open and you see your Band-Aid. We're going to peel the Band-Aid off and put our trash to the side. And then our Band-Aid's not sticky right now because it has this part on it, so we need to take off the part that covers the sticky. So you can kind of bend your Band-Aid and find this piece right here that pulls up, and just pull away. And other side. Pull away. And I'm going to push it down so you can see how I'm going to put it on my paper. So I'm going to take my Band-Aid and I'm going to push it, and I'm going to make sure I have space. So I don't want to put it too close to the side of the paper because then I won't have room to make the firefly's wings. So I'm going to push it down somewhere closer to the middle and press it out, make sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to get the Band-Aids for the wings. So like I said, I'm going to use the clear ones for the wings, but you could use the same ones if you just have one type. So I'm going to find my clear Band-Aids. Let's see, is that the same size I used before? So we're going to get 2 of them out, because fireflies have 2 wings, and we're going to go ahead and open up both of those band-aids. Some people might even have yellow band-aids already. You might have some neon ones, so those would be awesome to use for this if you've got those. I just have some plain band-aids though. I need to get some fun band-aids. So open, peel it off, sticky part, uncover that part that sticks, and let me push you down so you can see. So we're going to put it kind of crisscrossed over the firefly's body. So we're going to find the middle, and it's usually where that bump is that goes on your owie or your boo-boo. And find the middle of this one so you can see it on this one, that part that would go on the part that you hurt. And we're going to, instead of putting it this way on it or all the way across, it's going to kind of be across but turned a little bit. So I'm going to put the middle on the middle, and it's turned. And flatten it down. And now I'm going to take my yellow Sharpie. You could use a yellow marker or even yellow paint if you wanted to. And I'm going to uncap it. And to make my firefly look like it's lighting up in its wings, I'm going to just go ahead and color all around. And this is why I used a clear one for this, because that way the Sharpie shows up a little bit better. Or your marker might show up better. But if you just have one kind, it will still work too. So I'm going to color in all where the band-aid is. And so now you can see that it looks yellow, just like a firefly's wings do when they light up. And now we only have 1 firefly wing. Now we need to make 2 because fireflies fly with 2 different wings. So we're going to take our last band-aid and go ahead and open it, find that part, pull apart, peel it off, and put the extra in our trash pile. And then we're going to find the middle where you can peel this part off the sticky. And this side, peel it off the sticky part. And we're going to do the same thing, except for we're going to put it across like an X over the first one or the second band-aid that we put on that we colored yellow. So we're going to find the middle of this band-aid and the middle of this band-aid, and we're going to make an X. And once you found your X, you can push it down. Perfect. So now I've got 2 on there, but you can see that one doesn't glow like a firefly's wings would. So we're going to take our marker or Sharpie or paint, if that's what you have, yellow, and we're going to uncap it, and we're going to color on our second band-aid. Okay, and then next thing that we're going to do is make our firefly have antenna and a happy face. So we're going to take your crayons. I'm going to have to use white crayons since I used black paper, and that'll show up best. Whatever color you chose paper, you can pick a crayon that you think will show up nicely. And that's what we're going to do first. And another thing is that this is a really fun picture to make too. So once you're done making your jar, if you want to make a picture, you could also you could repeat this firefly. You could do a few different ones, and then you could draw some green grass and maybe really bright stars and maybe even a moon. So you could have a really cool picture out of this project too. But this one we're going to cut out, so you might want to make a whole different page of these. But that's another idea that you can make if you really love fireflies. So I'm going to take my crayons and I'm going to find my white. You could probably also use a white colored pencil too. So I found my white in my pack, and I'm going to show you how to make these. So I'm going to find whichever one I want to be the top of my firefly. see, I think I want this to be my top. So I'm going to find kind of the middle of my firefly's head. And from there, I'm going to make kind of a curved line going out to the side of my firefly's body. Like that. So it's kind of curving and it's towards this side of the body. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time I'm going to curve it towards this side of the firefly's body. So I'm going to go to the same spot that I started in and curve to the other side. And then we want 2 dots for our antenna on the top right here on each side. We're going to find the end of our line that we drew and make a circle and color it in. And on the other side, circle, color it in. Perfect. Great job. All right, now we are going to use, if you have a marker, you can use a marker, and we're going to uncap it and make the firefly's mouth. So you can see I made a smiley and 2 dots for eyes. So let's go ahead and do that with yours. So you're going to take our marker and find where you want to put the mouth. So we've already decided which side's going to be the head because that's where we put our antenna. So now we're going to draw a smiley. So I'm going to do mine right about there. So pick the spot you want to do your mouth, and we're going to do a smiley face. So a curved line where the ends go upwards. So we want a happy firefly because the firefly is out at night, flying around and finding some food. And now 2 eyes. 1, 2. Let me show you. There we go. We have a happy firefly. Great. Okay, our next step is that we are going to use our scissors to cut our firefly out. So make sure that you're using either you can maybe use kid scissors, or if you're using regular scissors, just ask your mom or dad if you can use them first, or they can supervise you while you do it. So we are going to cut out. So I cut out. Oh, you know what? We're actually not going to cut out yet. I forgot one step. We are going to make our firefly glow. So again, if you don't have your glowing paint, that's okay. You can just skip this step and we can cut out our firefly and put it in our jar, and you'll still have a great firefly in the jar to see all year round. But for those of you who do have our glow-in-the-dark paint, we're going to use yellow, or the closest to a bright neon color that you have. We're going to uncap it. And what we're going to do, let me find my example. We are going to do a line outside of the firefly's body so that it's going to glow in the dark too in our jar that glows in the dark. So that's going to be super cool. If you want to do, if you don't have puff paint, you could do maybe glitter glue, or glue and maybe like a yellow or gold glitter. You could do that. You could do, if you have regular puff paint, you could do that. So there's a couple of different things you could do if you don't have this type of paint. All right, so I'm going to push it down so you can see. And I'm going to find the edge of my wing. So I'm not going to do the body, the first Band-Aid that we put down. I'm just going to do my firefly's wings, the parts that are sticking out that we colored yellow. So I'm going to turn my thing upside down, and I'm going to find the spot that I want to start in. So I'm going to start right here. So yeah, I'm going to start right there in the middle of the 2 wings. So I'm going to push my puff paint. And now I'm going to squeeze until some comes out and follow the line. So I'm basically just tracing my firefly's wings with my glow-in-the-dark puff paint. Okay, and I'm going to keep going even into the body. You could just do the outsides if you want, but I'm going to keep going and follow these lines. Oh, my hand's in the way. And one more wing. Perfect. I'm going to find the cap, put it on so it doesn't get anywhere we don't want it. And now we're done with this. We can put it away. And now we have our awesome Firefly. And mine's got glow-in-the-dark paint on it. So you can go ahead and cut it out. We want to, like I was going to say before, we want to go a little bit away from the paint, especially because it's probably not dry right now. So we want to go a little bit away, so not right on the paint. So that's kind of what it's going to look like cut out. So we're going to take our scissors and we are going to go ahead and cut out our firefly. So we're going to cut into the paper. Open your scissors and start cutting in. And then we're going to do around it, pretty close to the paint, but not right on it, so our scissor doesn't get hot paint. So the reason that fireflies, I'll teach you a little bit about fireflies while we're cutting. The reason that they glow is they have something called bioluminescence, and that's what makes them glow at night. And they use that glowing to find a mate or prey, their dinner. And other types of bugs don't want to eat fireflies because they don't taste very good. And they remember that the glowing bug tastes kind of gross, so then they don't try to bite them anymore. So I'm cutting around my firefly. Another cool thing about fireflies is they're not actually flies. Did you know that? That's the silly thing. They're actually beetles, which is crazy. And there's some different kind of fireflies all over the world. They have fireflies, but some of them don't actually glow. So that's kind of crazy. I'm so glad I have the glowing ones near me. That's one of my favorite parts of the summer, when I get to watch them glowing at night. So I'm going to keep cutting. Whoop. I've got most of it cut out. Now I've got to get the top of the wings and the head. So it looks like my video just went out. I know that you guys can still see me, but I'm going to do my best to make sure everything's in frame. And I'm going to describe everything I'm doing really well, just in case you can't see what I'm doing in frame. All right, so now I'm going around. Some of the hardest parts is going around those little antennae. So we've got to really turn our scissors a lot. So I'm just going to clip off this paper so it's easier to do. And then I'm going to work on those little details around the antenna. All right. Around the body of the head. Now I've just got this one left. Perfect. Now we have our firefly. It's going to glow in the dark. And I'm going to put mine aside because I want it to dry before I put it in my... And if you got any on your hands, you can go wash them off. I'm going to use this paper just to wipe it. And put all this stuff aside. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and read you a book about fireflies while our stuff dries a little bit. And then we can put our firefly in our jar. And I'll tell you how to make it glow really well. So let's read this awesome book. This is called Firenze's Light by Jessica Calico, illustrated by Angela Lee. And there's our firefly. Looks like our firefly is swinging. Firenze likes dancing. She's singing and dancing. But there is only one thing Firenze does not like. Oh, Firenze likes books, but there's only one thing Firenze does not like. What do you think it's going to be? Looks like she's loving that book. Firenze does not like her light. It's always shining at the worst times, she says. So you can see her light. And she looks like, what kind of face do you think she has? Looks like she's having a sad face. Let's find out why she doesn't like her light. I think I would love to have a light. At the movies, at slumber parties, during games of hide and seek. So those are all the wrong times. I guess it would be not so great to have something laid up on your body when you're at the movies and it's supposed to be dark, or slumber parties when everybody's sleeping, or hide and seek because everybody would find you. See that her friend found her really quickly because of her light. Your light makes you unique, said her mother. No one shines just like you. I'll cover up my light, Firenze thought. She gathered her leaves and wrapped them around her until her light was hidden. So there she's taking leaves from the ground and she's putting them around her light so no one will be able to see. The next day, Firenze's friends needed her help. At the movies, Tick dropped his snack under his seat. Firenze, can you shine your light down there? What light? I don't have a light, said Firenze. So there's her friend trying to find it in the dark. And Firenze's not helping because she's hiding her light. At the slumber party, Natalie, that's funny, they spelled Natalie with a G like you would spell the little bug, a gnat, whispered, Firenze, make your light shine. I'm scared of the dark. But Firenze let out a loud snore. She's pretending to be asleep. She's pretending to be asleep. So there she is. She's pretending to snore. And her friend, Natalie, she really wants her light to shine because she's afraid of the dark. So she loved it when she was at the sleepovers and Firenze had her light glowing. During a game of hide and seek, Firenze hid in her best spot, deep in the dark bushes. Come out, Firenze, shouted Legs. It's hard to find you when your light doesn't shine. So there they are. They're looking everywhere for her, but they can't find her because she doesn't have her light today. But Firenze pretended not to hear and flew away as fast as she could. There she's going home. She's not even saying goodbye to her friends. Firenze found herself deep in the forest, far away from her friends. She had hoped that they would forget about her light. She felt very sad. So you can see she looks like she's got a pretty sad face there, huh? She's crying. Just as she began to cry, she heard a strange sound coming from the bushes behind her. Oh, I wonder what it's going to sound like. Munch, munch, munch. Firenze flew closer to investigate. Munch, 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 crunch. I love it. What do you think's going to be in the bush? What are you doing? Asked Firenze. Creating my masterpiece, exclaimed a beetle, clicking his huge pincers. I'm Kiri. I'm using my magnificent pincers to make wonderful art. Isn't it amazing? Oh, wow, look. What's his name again? Kyrie. So Kyrie used his pinchers, his beetle pinchers, to make these cool designs in the leaves. And it looks like there's even a cool necklace made of maybe berries or nuts. It's lovely, said Firenze as she looked at Kiri's art. Firenze's light began to shine through the patterns in the leaves. You can see, shining through the leaves. Oh, how beautiful, Firenze gasped, enchanted by the colors and shapes that appeared all around her. Wow, whispered Kiri, your light is making my art even more magical. What a wonderful gift you have. So Kiri thinks that Firenze's light is a gift. And look how beautiful those leaves look when Firenze's light is shining through. Oh no, said Firenze, I don't like my light. I wish it would go away. She began grabbing leaves to wrap herself. I understand, said Kyrie. I used to feel the same way about my pinchers, but then I realized I am brilliant. I am wonderful. I am unique. So Kyrie felt the same way about Kyrie's pinchers long ago, but now Kyrie found the art to help make his pinchers feel special. I wish I could feel like that about my light, Kyrie, but I don't, Firenze exclaimed, and she flew home. A few days later, Firenze received a package. So there's Firenze flying home. And there's the package that Firefly received a few days later. Who do you think the package is going to be from? It looks like a letter. Dear Firefly, I made this skirt just for you. I hope you will wear it to my art show tomorrow. Your light is a gift. Let it shine. Love, Kyrie. So there's the package. And what's inside? There's these awesome, beautiful leaves that Kyrie designed with his pinchers. And they look like a beautiful blue color. And it looks like Firefly's trying them on in her mirror. Firefly looks beautiful with her present on, huh? Firefly felt nervous as she arrived at the art show the next day. But as her light glimmered through her skirt, she saw the faces of her friends. Wow, what do you think her friends are thinking? Let's look at their faces. I can see a happy face. And yeah, they all look very happy to see her, but she looks a little bit unsure from her face. How lovely, brilliant. See what happens when you let your light shine? Well, all her friends are so happy that she let her light shine. When Firefly twirled onto the stage, she realized how powerful her light was. It was creating a magical art, joy for her friends, and happiness in her heart. Suddenly, Firefly felt very grateful. She was a firefly. Wow, they're all looking at this beautiful art, and Firefly's light looks like it's shining through all the beautiful art. And now she feels grateful, so that she feels happy, and she's very happy that she has her special gift now. So Kyrie was a great friend to help her see that. Firefly grew to love her light, even when it was difficult. She always remembered the night she let her light shine for everyone to see. Oh, and now Firefly has a happy face again, because she's grateful and happy about her light. I'm so glad Firefly realized that her light makes her special, and that she likes what makes her special and unique. That was a great story. All right, so now our glow-in-the-dark paint should be a little bit more dry. So what we're going to do is, if you still have the top on yours, you're just going to take your fingers and untwirl it like this. And we're going to put our firefly in our jar. So if your jar, so my firefly is a little bit bigger than the mouth of my jar, but that's okay. I'm just going to pinch them a little bit like this from the back. And that way it fits in. And then as soon as it gets in, it'll open up a little bit more. And drop my firefly in. And then I'm going to take my jar and put it back on. So there I go. I've got my firefly in my jar so I can see it all year round. I'm going to put mine in my room. Something that will help it to glow in the dark. So these dots will glow when it gets dark, so when you don't have any lights on or at night. But what will help it glow even more is if it's been in the sunlight before, or under a light like your lamp or maybe your room's light. So if you want to make it glow extra bright, you could maybe put it near a window so it gets some sunlight. Or if the light's been off for a while and it's not glowing anymore, you could shine a flashlight for a minute, hold the flashlight up, and so the light will shine on it, and then when you turn it off, it'll be really, really bright. So I hope that you enjoy this all year round, and maybe when you go to sleep, you can watch the lights and it will help you relax. So I hope you enjoyed creating this awesome firefly in a jar with me, and make sure you stick around for some more Celebrate Summer events tonight with Get Your Play Online. I think there's one at 1 and 3 and 5. So I hope that you will join Get Your Play Online then as well. All right, see you later. Bye.